Hello and welcome to A Crow in Her Garden. And it is that time of year again. It is seed starting time. And I'm just going to do a quick video going over the tomatoes that I am planning to grow this year. So, as you all know, I have my favorites that I will be growing and probably grow every year. And I have a new tomato variety that actually two that I'm going to be trying this year. So first off, we're going to start with the cherry type tomatoes. And right here, I have one of my favorites. This is the Berry's Crazy Cherry. And this picture here is no lie. It produces so many cherry tomatoes. And it's very, very good, very prolific. My next variety is the Rosella Cherries. These are also extremely prolific. I've grown these this will be my third year in a row. They are deep red, smoky flavor. They make amazing salsa. I've even used them to make tomato sauce. Very good. And I am going to grow the spoon tomatoes again. My son really loved them, so I am going to grow a few plants of these. But I'm going to try to support them differently than I did last year. These are very delicious. They are packed with flavor and they pop in your mouth. They're amazing in salads. The only downside is they are somewhat tedious to pick because they're very tiny and it's just very time consuming to pick them, and you only get a small handful at a time. But they are still very delicious. The next tomato I grew for the first time last year, is the carbon tomato. These are very red, very rich in flavor, and they produced fairly well this is a slicer type of tomato. And they also make really good tomato sauce, as well as eating on sandwiches and stuff too. This is by far my favorite slicing tomato. It is called Dad Sunset. It produces a orange yellow tomato. It's sweet and fruity, not quite as acidic as red tomatoes can get, but it is so good. These are my favorite for making tomato sandwiches. And here are my two new varieties I'm growing this year. I'm going to grow the Cherokee purple tomato. I have heard it does really well here. I live just north of Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I'm hoping for good results from this tomato. And then I am going to attempt growing a different Roma style tomato. I usually grow the Martino's Roma, but I saw these at Ace Hardware and just decided, I'm going to give these a try because my Roma tomatoes didn't really do all that great last year. These are called the tomato Suprema Bush Roma tomatoes. This is a determinate variety that I will plant and let bush out. So I'm going to give these a shot to see if they do any better than the Martino's Roma. These are, according to our package, a bit more disease resistant. So we shall see. So these are the tomatoes that I'm going to be growing this year. Now, real quick, I just want to go over exactly how I plant my tomato seeds. No matter what variety they are, it's all the same on planting them. So I have my seed starting tray. This is a 6 by 12 tiny cell tray. And I plant 2 seeds in each compartment and put 2 holes because, well, if they both sprout, then what I can do is once they get a little bit taller and they put on their first set of true leaves, I can split them and then have 2 tomato plants. So the first one I'm going to plant is the Berry's Crazy Cherry. Now, I have made a small hole in the seed trays with this tool. It's called a dibbler, and it is very useful, very helpful for making small holes for seeds, or also in the garden bed if you're trying to plant plugs or starts, you can just push this right into the soil and it makes the perfect hole for you to be able to just plant your seeds really, really easily. This is a very useful tool. If you don't have one, it's definitely worth getting. And all I did was just poke a little hole in each one of these cells, just like that. Makes it really easy. So now I've got my seeds, and I'm just going to drop one seed. And again, this is the berries crazy cherry. Just going to drop one seed in each hole here. So that will give me a total of potentially 12 berries crazy cherries. Now, I probably won't plant 12 berries crazy cherries because sadly I don't have quite that much room in my garden for that many tomatoes. But I do have some friends that I will be sharing some of these starts with once they get to be a good size. These seeds are very tiny. Most cherry tomato seeds are. So that was that. Now all I do is I just kind of go back and push down that soil over the seeds. Just gently. And now I will say that this is seed starting mix that has already been, I've already watered it. It's pre-moistened. And I've also had it sitting on top of a heat mat too. So the soil is already kind of warm. I will water these in a bit more and I will keep them watered. And I might even end up there's a plastic dome that came with this tray that I may end up putting over it. So, but that is all I do to start my tomato seeds. Again, it doesn't matter what type. You plant them, start them inside just like this. And then I have my seed setup is right there with my heat mat and my grow lights that I will set over this. And so these seeds, it says they take about a week, possibly a week to 2 weeks to sprout. In my experience, it's usually right about a week till they germinate. Once they germinate, I take that plastic lid off so that they can get air, and I just keep them watered. But that is that on my tomatoes. Thank you so much for watching. Happy gardening!